Meanwhile, Usha Vance, Yale law graduate and trial lawyer, was thrust into the spotlight this week after her husband, J.D. Vance, was chosen as Donald Trump's running mate in the U.S. presidential election. Usha was raised in San Diego by Indian immigrants. Here are the finer details.
Our family story is an Ohio story. My husband, J.D., grew up in Middletown, and things weren't easy. His mom struggled with addiction, and his dad wasn't there. But J.D. was lucky. He was raised by his loving grandmother, and he served his country as a Marine in Iraq. He's an incredible father, and he's my best friend.
Usha Vance. As of 2014, she was a registered Democrat. Her husband is now Donald Trump's vice presidential pick. The daughter of Indian immigrants, Usha grew up in a San Diego suburb. She and J.D. Vance met at Yale Law School, and the pair were married in Kentucky in 2014 and blessed by a Hindu Pandit in a separate ceremony. Donald Trump's running mate has previously said he feels humbled by his wife Usha Vance's stellar CV. She certainly has the credentials. Mrs. Vance once clerked for Brett Kavanaugh, now Supreme Court Justice on the District of Columbia Court of Appeals. Then she clerked for Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts. Both men are part of the highest court's conservative majority. Critics note that it's a conspicuous resume for a woman whose husband gave a speech in 2021 titled, "The Universities Are the Enemy," and rarely missed a chance to bash the establishment as he campaigned for Senate in 2022. Usha definitely brings me back to earth a little bit, Mr. Vance told the Megyn Kelly Show podcast in 2020, adding that she is the powerful female voice on his left shoulder. Some political watchers argue that her career has put her in an awkward contrast with her husband's political persona. Usha has played a significant role in her husband's success. She assisted J.D. Vance in organizing his thoughts on the social decline in rural white America, which inspired his best-selling memoir, Hillbilly Elegy, which was adapted into a film directed by Ron Howard in 2020. As J.D. Vance gears up for what is certain to be a grueling campaign for the White House, he may need Usha Vance's counsel more than ever before. Parmeshwar Bawa for NDTV. Joining us for a quick comment on the NDTV network, President-elect American Telugu Association, Jayant Reddy Challa. Thank you so much, Jayant, for making time for us. The Telugu American community is the fastest growing community in the US. In fact, if we look at the stats, there are about 1.25 million Telugu Americans out of the 5.1 million Indian Americans in the US. I mean, there's no denying that they're excelling in the tech space, the corporate space, as well as politics.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for having me here for brief comments. It's so heartening to see the Telugu people excelling in the US and across all fields. Like you mentioned, if you take Indian Americans in the United States, there are about 5.1 to 5.5 million Indian Americans. And out of that, 1.25 million are of Telugu origin. If you look at the number of students, number of high-skilled immigrants coming into the United States, majority of them are of Telugu origin. So they are not only excelling in the technology, but they are into the business. If you look at the top IT companies, Microsoft and Adobe, IBM, they're all headed by Telugu Americans. So it's the Telugu is the fastest growing Indian American community in the US. And we have one other notable Telugu American that is serving as the Lieutenant Governor of Maryland. Yes. Maryland is a state very next to Washington, D.C. Aruna Miller, she got elected as the Lieutenant Governor of Maryland about 1 year ago. And she is serving very well, and we are very proud of her as well. And with the selection of J.D. Vance, we are so proud that he is married to Usha Chilukuri. Usha's parents are from Telugu states as well, and she is such eminently qualified. She is a Yale graduate, and she will make sure I believe that Indian interests are also, taken care of in this administration.
Right, Usha definitely has some incredible credentials. Thank you so much, Jayant, for joining us on The World 24/7.
Okay, you're welcome.